Hello, hello, Julia Gentry here. Another week. Just talking about, the things that make us awesome. We're just talking about the things that make us awesome. And this week, what we're going to be talking about is something that I have noticed many times in the last couple of years as a growth coach. It is also the thing that I believe has made my marriage incredible. Okay. Of all the things that I've done in my life, and I have done a lot, things to be proud of and things to not be proud of. The thing that I'm most proud of is my marriage. And so I'm going to give you kind of an inside scoop as to how I approach my husband during times of confrontation, right? And here's what I know to be true. Most of us don't like confrontation. And what I'm going to share today is not just for you and your spouse. It is also something that can be used in the workplace. It can be used with staff members. It can be used with your boss. It could be used with your children, depending on how old they are. It can be used when you're having conversations with yourself. So we're going to talk about how to do confrontation well today, because how many of us would say that we do confrontation well? That's what I thought. And most of us do one of two things. Either we hit a point of confrontation and we freak out, right? Like we are the yellers and the screamers and the people who just attack. Or we don't do anything at all. We retreat, we avoid, and we aren't actually confronting at all. We're not even having conversations that we need to be having. And so I want to give you a little toolbox, if you will, today on how to do it well, no matter who you are having to confront. Okay, and this could be really big items, like this could be big issues that you're facing. This could also just be super small, minor mistakes. I use this no matter which circumstance I am approaching, but I think it's going to be really, really helpful. Now, what I want to do as you are approaching confrontation, and the reason that most of us, again, either attack or we avoid, is because we already have some story in our head around what confrontation is. Like, we already give it a meaning. So for most people, even when I use that word confrontation, you're like, oh, I hate that word. I hate confrontation. Why? Because it hurts. It's painful. Someone always gets hurt. Someone's always mad. Someone's always upset. Someone's going to judge me or reject me. That's just an interpretation, right? Like, the confrontation just is. There is no good or bad or right or wrong. It just is. And ultimately, it's our interpretation around the word that is creating our experience. And so what I would first like to suggest is that it doesn't have to mean anything other than having a conversation. Now, have we had experiences where it doesn't go well? Of course. Have we had experiences where someone else has lost it or fallen off the rails, or we have? Yes, of course. We have a lot of historical data that would tell us that there's a reason that we don't like it or need to avoid it, right? Or have to attack in order to, save our own ego or whatever that is. So what I would like first is that in order to do this well, you're going to have to unlearn what you know about it to begin with. Right? So oftentimes it's not what we know that hurts us. It's what we think we know that just isn't so. So first, please unlearn it. Like, take whatever you think to be true about confrontation and just put it over here for just a minute. Okay? Now, the next thing I want you to know going into this is that the goal of a relationship is connection. That's the goal. Okay? So whether you are thinking about your spouse or a staff member or an employee or a friend, the goal of that relationship, any healthy relationship, is connection. Now, most of us, again, we approach this and the goal is to not get hurt. The goal is to not be rejected. Now, this is all at an unconscious level. I recognize that, but we need to change the goal. And the goal is connection. Okay, so even for those of us who avoid or don't have conversations, that's not connection. For those of us who attack or override the person that we're talking with, that's also not connection. So we need to recognize that the goal of a conversation and the goal of a relationship is connection. Okay? Now, when the time comes to approach this person, there's going to be 4 things I'm going to share with you today, and they're almost going to kind of be in order of how you want to approach the conversation and how you want to approach this person. Okay. Number one, you want to ask yourself, is what I'm experiencing with this person a mistake or a pattern? Because how you're going to approach that would look very different, right? If this person has done something and it really is a mistake and it's out of character and it's out of alignment with who they are, then we have a lot of information to go, oh man, this is a one-off. Like, this is not normal for this person. This is not in their character. So at some level, we need to kind of like drop the boxing gloves or drop the fear of having a conversation because they've never done it before. It's kind of a one-off, right? Even if you're approaching yourself and you're like, man, I just made a mistake and this is not normal for me. A pattern is different, right? When we start to see people who do the same thing, we can't necessarily expect them or us to get a different result, right? And so if we see that this person has been doing this thing over and over and over again, no matter what it is, we have to kind of first say, man, this is a pattern. This is something that I've seen 2, 3, 4 times in the last month, or actually it's something that ever since I've known this person, that they've been doing. We need to really recognize that, because then how we're going to approach that right out of the gate will sound like this. Hey, I see that you made this mistake and this is not in character. This is not in alignment with who you are. Can you explain to me what happened here? Great. We're just trying to gain some clarity, but already right out of the gate, we can already say like, this is a mistake. Share with me your heart. Share with me where your head was at, right? Versus if it's a pattern with ourselves or someone else, we go, hey, I'd like to talk about something that I'm seeing as a pattern. It's happened a few times. Maybe give them a couple examples, not because you're trying to prove that they're wrong, but on the receiving end, I need to be able to own what you're talking about. And if I approach my husband and I just say, you're never home, and he's like, what do you mean I'm never home? Like, give me examples. And I'm like, I don't know. You're just never home. How's he supposed to answer that, right? But if I'm like, can we look at the calendar, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday of just last week, like you weren't home until 9. I'm not trying to make him wrong. I'm just trying to connect some real facts with what I'm feeling. Okay, so there's a pattern here. Now, once I know in my head that this is a mistake or a pattern, generally the pattern, what I'm going to do next is number 2. I'm going to say, what's mine, what's theirs? Okay, because it always takes 2 to tango. Right? It always, right? Even though this person might be in the wrong, I have to check myself of what's on me. So let's just use that example again. My husband's never around. Okay. So first I have to go, this is a pattern, and I have a lot of proof throughout the month that would say he's not around. Then I would say, what's mine? What's his? Okay. What's his is that he's not around and he's not being mindful of how much we need him, and he's working all the time, and he's not even acknowledging that I need maybe some time by myself or some time with him or whatever it is, right? I probably have a long list of what's his. All of us do. Then I need to check myself, and I need to say, what's mine? And I need to own it. What's mine is I feel insecure. What's mine is that I actually need him more than I told him at the beginning of the month. What's mine is that I'm mad. What's mine is that I put too much on my plate. What's mine is that I don't have any boundaries, right? What's mine in this? When I'm able to acknowledge that, now again, I'm not coming at someone guns a-blazing, ready to point out all the wrong things that they're doing. I'm able to own like, hey, here's what I need to own too. And quite honestly, this is beautiful for the person on the other side of this, because once I do bring it up, I'm going to own that first. Hey, I've seen a pattern. You're not around as often as you would like. Monday you were gone, Tuesday you were gone, Thursday and Friday you were gone. And here's what I need to own. I'm feeling insecure as your wife. I'm feeling disconnected from you. I've put too much on my plate. I actually need a break. I need to own that. And here's where my head is at. You know, you're gone all the time. You're not checking in with me. You know, I feel like, right? And so then I'm able to kind of convey the message, right? That's huge, because now in theory, I've showed that I'm human too. I've showed this person that it's not just on them. I've actually taken the opportunity to call a spade, right? Then what I need to do is I need to take it one level deeper, and this is number 3. And this is sometimes hard to do depending upon how mindful and aware we are and how mindful and aware the other person is. But oftentimes I need to ask myself, is it the thing that I'm mad at, or is it the thing under the thing? And I talk a ton about this in my book, that most of the time the things that we're wrestling with, right, or the thing that I'm most mad at, or the thing that I feel most insecure at isn't the thing. Like, it's not that my husband's just never home. It's not that this person made a mistake on the job. It's not that the clients aren't responding. Though those issues matter, right? We're not suggesting that none of them matter, but generally it's not the thing that's bothering me. It's the thing under the thing, right? It's not that my husband's coming home late. It's that I feel disconnected from him in general for the last decade. Giving an example. I don't, but you know what I'm saying. It's not that clients aren't responding. It's that I have a fear of failure. You know what I mean? It's not that my friend is doing all the things and forgetting to connect in our relationship. It's that I actually have a huge history of friendships that have disappointed me, and so I'm just really afraid to be rejected in general, right? It's the thing is a thing, but what's really got me and why I'm like either really running and wanting to avoid this conversation, or I'm ready to like attack, is because I've got 10, 20, 30 years of evidence. I've got 30 years of hurt. I've got 30 years of pain. I've got a decade of disconnect. And so when I'm able to kind of go, oh man, it's not just this thing, it's all of these other things, I take a little bit of the pressure off of the thing I'm in front of today. And then number 4, when you start to approach this person, I want you to make decisions based upon where you're going, not where you are. I want you to make decisions based upon the vision for your marriage, the vision for your business, the vision for the relationship, not just where you are, right? Because using this example, if I'm talking with my husband and I've already kind of said that this is a pattern and here's what's mine, here's what's his, and you know the thing I'm really most scared about is the rejection or the lack of connection. Now I have to ultimately be able to go, look, all of this could be true. All of this could also make me right. All of this could be very real. And I can't simply make decisions based upon real. I can't just make decisions based upon what I'm facing today or make decisions based upon these last 10 years. I need to make decisions based upon where we're going in our marriage. I need to make decisions based upon what my vision for my marriage is. So for me, my number one goal in my marriage is passion and connection. That's been my goal. It's what I run after, and it's ultimately what I make every single decision from. Like, I've legit trained my brain to do this. Why? Because I won't settle for anything other than connection and passion. And so even when the ego in me wants to, strike at them, and even when the ego in me wants to be right, and even when, the insecurities popping up or all of the things, I simply ask myself, okay, if I'm approaching this from a place of connection and passion, what would I say and what would I do? That informs everything. I'm not going to run and hide. I'm not going to not say something. I'm not going to blame him for something or hold on to unforgiveness for something. I'm not going to put him in the doghouse. I'm not going to do any of those things. Why? Because I've already committed to passion and connection, right? Or if you have a vision in your business, right? You're approaching your employee and you're like, man, I am really struggling to see that they are, showing up on time, right? So you ask yourself, is this a mistake or pattern? It's a pattern, right? Like over the last month, they have been late 17 times. Okay. Now we go, what's mine? What's theirs? What's mine is, I actually told them to be here at 9. They get here at 9:05, and I've never really shared with them that 8:50 is on time, right? Because at 9, you need to be ready to go. Like, that's on me. I've never shared my standards with my employees, so they don't know that we make decisions from a place of mindfulness and integrity and passion, right? So they're still making decisions based upon however they make decisions. Like, that's on me. What's on them? They're late and they don't seem to care. What's on that, right? So you have that list. And you're gonna go, what's the thing under the thing? Well, the thing under the thing for me is that I can't depend on someone. So here we go. Or I have to do it all. Or so what's really bothering me is that I feel like I can't trust anyone, not just this person. So, right, like, let go just a little bit. But now I have a vision in my business that says we are here to be the best version of us and to bring the best experience to the world around us. Okay, that's where I need to be making decisions from. So I need to be sitting down with this team member and I need to be saying, hey, here's our vision, that we believe in being the best version of ourselves and giving people the best experience we can. Here's how we do that. Now you're actually making decisions based upon where you're going and not how they're acting. Based upon where you're going and not just how you're feeling in the moment, right? And now you can actually lead yourself and this conversation in a very progressive way. You're not just striking at the problem or striking at the mistake or even striking at the pattern. You're actually saying, hey, how we're acting is not in alignment with who we are, right? Even for Travis and I, this is in the last decade, this is what runs through my head. Hey, how we're approaching this situation is not in alignment with our commitment of connection and passion. So yes, most of us, what we do is we just continue to poke at this and go, why are we doing this and why are we doing this? Or we go, okay, well, if we were making a decision from a place of passion and connection, how would we fix this? How would we solve this? How would we approach this issue? Now we have some clarity that's very, very much in alignment with who we are and where we're going, not just what we're experiencing. So that, my friends, is a game changer for any relationship approaching any level of confrontation. Now, you got to unlearn what confrontation means to you, and then you have to relearn that the goal of any relationship is connection. Then you engage using these 4 things every single time. Now, are you going to be great at it right out of the gate? No, you're not. Is that person going to respond perfectly the way that we want them to every single time? No, they're not. But are you going to have to be committed to the process and doing this and practicing this? 100%, right? At some level, it's just about getting your reps in. It's about the practice. And if you keep attacking or you keep avoiding, then you're not getting your reps in. You're continuing to practice something that you don't want the result or the outcome, right? And so I invite you to practice these 4 things day in and day out with yourself, with your spouse, with your staff, with your team, with whoever it is, and watch as your relationships completely start to transform. Watch as confrontation actually becomes an opportunity to connect with someone. Watch as the way that you do life with the people in your life totally change. I hope this served you today. I want to hear about it. So practice, and then write in the comments below, ping me, tag me, do all the things. Let me know how it's going. And of course, I look forward to seeing you here every week as we talk about awesome things, because you're awesome. And I'm going to give you ideas and tips and strategies on how to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be in any and every area of your life. We'll see you soon. Oh, one more thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want videos that are going to encourage you, challenge you, and support you in going from where you are to where you've never been. And you know that what got you to where you are surely isn't going to take you to where you've never been, then you're not going to want to forget to subscribe.